Hi, I'm Oliver from lenses.com, and in this video I'm going to show you how to convert a video to an image sequence and all the way around an image sequence to a video. And there are several reasons why you may want to do that, okay? For example, when you load a video into Blender to work with it, let's say for camera tracking, for example, if your video is not a very common format, or the codecs it uses are not really common, or you don't have them correctly installed in your computer, or whatever reason, you may experience some issues, like for example flickering, frame changes, I don't know, you move the video to another position but the frames stick in the same frame. I don't know, you can find a lot of problems, okay? It may, of course, work pretty nice, but I encourage you to use image sequences because they will be always correct, because there is no problem loading a PNG or a JPEG, all right? But if you load a pretty uncommon video format, you may experience issues with it, all right? So it's better to use image sequences for that. That's why in this video I'm going to export an image sequence, because in the next tutorial I'm going to make the camera tracking for that sequence, right? And I'm going to use an image sequence instead of a video file. Now, when you export a sequence, when you render it, let's say you have been rendering for 2 hours into a movie file, and then you realize that the compression is not good enough, right? So in this case, you would need to go back and render the scene again with the new parameters for 2 other hours, and that is not good. Okay, so the better thing you can do is to just export it to an image sequence, and once you have the image sequence with every frame in 100% quality, then convert all that image sequence to a video with the compression you want, because converting an image sequence to a video is done usually very quickly. It depends on your computer, of course, but it's way more quick than just rendering all the scene again. Okay, so that's very important. Also, it can happen that in a movie you find that several frames are incorrect. So in that case, in a movie file you would need to change that frames and render again all the movie. But with an image sequence you just need to render the problematic frames and override the old ones. Okay, so as I said, I encourage you to use image sequences. It's a much cleaner way to do it. It's the professional way to do it. And well, let's go for it. Okay, so here I am in Blender, and now first I'm going to show you the video that I want to convert. So this is the video, and it's a video I recorded the other day to use in the next tutorial, which will be about camera tracking in Blender. So I'm going to track this scene camera. Now, this is the video I'm going to convert to an image sequence to use in the next tutorial. So what we need to do is to go here into Blender to the video sequence editor. All right, this is a panel of Blender where we can edit videos. So first we can press Shift A, or we can go here in the menu to add and pick a movie. Now here we go to the desktop, Stadium, and pick this video, which is the one that I want, which is 225.mts, which is a really uncommon format. Is the one that my camera uses, and it's pretty crappy, but is what we have right now. So I'm going to use it. It's possible that during the process of this video tutorial, it fails a little in the video clip editor, in the video clip editor, yes, because sorry, in the video sequence editor, because the clip editor is the one that we are going to use in the next tutorial for the tracking. They are, I'm going to show you now. So add movie strip, but first let's check these options here. I want that the start frame of this video is 1. And I don't want to import the sound because I don't want to use it anymore for this. Also, we are going to export an image sequence which doesn't have a sound. So add movie strip, and here we have our strip. All right. What I wanted to tell you before is that here we have the video sequence editor and we have the movie clip editor, which are two different editors for very different things, but I just was confusing them. All right. So the one that we are using is the video sequence editor. All right. So here we have this nice rectangle, this blue rectangle, which is not really intuitive to know that here is a video. So for that, we have these three modes of view in the video sequence editor, and this one is for watching the strip, this one is for watching the video, and this one is for watching the both of them. So we can here decrease this amount. We can also scale it with Control and middle mouse button just to work more comfortable, or for watching more information if we have more layers, because each one of these files is one of these columns or rows, sorry, would have a video if we add them, right? We can also do it by pressing and dragging this sidebar. Okay, so here we have the video, which is pretty small right now. And what I want to do is to put it full screen, and I can do it by rolling the scroll wheel, or we can just pressing home and it will fit the window. All right, so we are watching here the video. Now there is something that I want to do, and is cut the parts of the video that I don't want, because in the image sequence, finally, I just want to use a part of it. All right, so all this part in which I start to run with the skate and all that, I want it out of the equation. So let's drag it. Let's place the cursor in the frame, the first frame. Let's drag this until we find the position that we want. We can also press G and drag to move, just as any other object in Blender. So I want the video to start from here, where I'm already focusing the part of the scene that I want to track in the next tutorial. So here, what I can do is to press K, and I will generate two different strips, right? One for this part, and this one will be the part before that. So erase strips, and this starts right now. Okay, so now I want this one to end right here. Okay, first I'm going to go here. This will display, this is the, by pressing the N key in the keyboard, the video sequence editor will display this menu here, showing us some options of the what we have selected right now, which is nothing because we have nothing selected. But if we select this strip, it will show us options for that strip. So one of the options is the interlace. Now, if we go here, you can see very clearly that the lines are duplicated, all right? So we can click here and it will interlace it for us. So when we render the image sequence, it won't be interlaced, because tracking an interlaced video is like hell, okay? So just do that, okay? So now we want to cut it here, because then is when I stop and that, but I want to stop like around here, for example. Okay, so as now my sequence here only reached this point, I'm going to go here and press E to place the end frame right there. Okay, so now I can go right here, and if I press play, you can see the whole video. Okay, do you see that jumps, those jumps? That is because, as I told you, the MTS format is pretty crappy format, all right? So it's not, the codec is not loading it correctly here, okay? Right now, as you can see, it reaches this point before it was showing the last time I passed, okay? Last time I wanted the video to end here, but now you can see that it's showing us different stuff. Okay, that is why I recommend to use image sequences, because if these jumps happen while we are tracking, we can become a little crazy, right? So let's think about it this way. Okay, so press E, and now we have this sequence. Let's ignore the jumps. Right, so there we are. Okay, let's press F12. Now it's another different stuff. Okay, so let's go to that frames that jump and let's try to render them. You can see that they render incorrectly, right? So let's try to fix that. Let's go to the first frame, press and refresh sequencer, also reload strips and adjust length. And now press Alt A. Let's see what happens. It looks like this solved the problem. Okay, now, as you can see, the video now should end about here. So each time we are cutting more, more parts of the video. So now it should work fine. And there we have it. Okay, so remember here on strip, you can just go here and reload strips and adjust length, right? If it happens to show you different stuff, okay, or make jumps and whatever, because that is that the codec is failing for some reason because of the compression or whatever, and you need to reload it. So here we are from frame 1, and we start going, whatever. Okay, looks fine. So we have that sequence. Now, if we press F12, it will render it. All right. Now, what we need to do here is to set up the output. So let's, even if I have here the full HD, I'm going to put this on 100%, and here I'm going to render it in 720p. So 1280, sorry, and 720. All right, so that will be the final resolution I want for my video, for my image sequence. Also here, let's add an output. So let's go here to Stadium. Here I have image sequence, which is the image sequence, this same one that I already exported, so you don't need to wait for me to render it. And image sequence 2, for example. All right, just so you can see that is pretty fast. Now let's call it image, and it will automatically rename each frame with the frame number and so on. So I have that. Now here the format. Well, for previews you can use JPEGs. You can even use it for final projects, okay? But I recommend you to use PNG files. Okay, PNG, because it's not too heavy and it works pretty fine and it has a pretty decent quality. Okay, now if you want to go really professional, you probably should use something like Targa, right, TGA, or OpenEXR, or maybe TIFF, right? So because they are formats that are 100% quality, but they are more heavier, so they will take more space in your hard drive. So be careful with that. All right, so I'm happy with this. As it's a video, we don't need alpha values. All right, so let's just render RGB. And now what you have to do is to just go here and press animation, or just Ctrl F12, which is the shortcut to render a whole animation. So let's press it, and here we are. And you can see that it's a matter of seconds to render the whole sequence. Okay, each frame takes less than a second. All right, so okay, I'm going to escape because I don't want to bore you by rendering this. I'm going to erase this strip pressing X. Okay, and here, so I have this image sequence 2, which is, this is the one that I was rendering right now. You can see that if we press the arrow keys, we can, each one of the images is a frame. Okay, but I actually want to delete this because I already have it rendered here. Okay, so here we have the whole sequence. Okay, I'm actually also deleting this. Okay, so I have this image sequence and I want to load it in Blender to build a video file from them. So I go here, press Shift A, and instead of movie, we want to add image, because what we are going to add are images. So here, image sequence, all right, and we can select several ones by pressing Shift. Okay, we can even press B and box select a lot of them, But actually, as I don't have anything else in this folder, I can press A and select all of them. And now press Add Image Strip. And now here we have our image strip, which is slightly longer than what we have. So there we go. Now, image sequences work perfectly here. At least I never had a problem with image sequences. So as you can see, it's loading pretty fine. We don't have jumps or anything, and we already have it loaded here. Okay, so what we need to do now is to go right here. We already have it, this resolution set up, and what I want to do, instead of PNG, let's go here and select, for example, MPEG. And now here in encoding, we have different presets. I want to use, for example, MPG4, right? You can tweak a little the parameters for the compression and all of that. Now the audio codec, you can also select it, but in this case, as we don't have audio, it will be none. And right now, we're going just to change the name. This will be the video file. Okay, so we have this already. Let's go here. Well, just a final thing, okay? If you happen to be working on a scene and you just load this here, if now you press render, instead of your scene, it will render the video sequence editor, all right? Because if you have something in the video sequence editor, it will override what you have in your scene, all right? So what you need to do, if you don't want that to happen, is go here to post-processing. And here, if you disable the sequencer, you can see that it will be rendering your scene, okay? So have that in mind. Okay, so, but now let's just activate it. Okay, so now just press animation or Ctrl F12, and let's see what happens. And as you can see, it's a matter of seconds to have your video file up and running. There we are. It already ended. So now if we go here, what's happening? Of course I had the old folder selected. So this is the file. Here it's telling us from what frame to which frame it's showing us. So if we press play, here we have our video file from an image sequence. So as I said before, I recommend you, I encourage you to use image files instead of movies to render your scenes, because to save time when you have some issue in the video, because otherwise you will have to render everything again, and also to improve quality and be able to tweak the video compression after you have rendered it, and not having to render all the 3D scene again, which takes a lot of time. While as you saw right now, to render 150 frames took like what, 10 seconds probably. So as you can see, it's very fast. So there is the tutorial. It's already finished. So I hope you learned something from it. And again, use image sequences instead of movies. So see you soon and happy blending.